listening to The Financial Fix.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're back on The Financial Fix. I'm excited to have you guys back. We are hopping into savings. First of all, I got to give it a shout out to my buddy DJ Best Believe for that intro that you guys just heard. For those on the vlogcast, you didn't hear it, so you might want to listen to the pod. You can find us on Anchor FM. I am working on getting it distributed out to different podcast platforms, so it should be on iTunes, Google Play, Pocket Cast, whatever you have. We'll get that soon. So we're jumping into it. Savings is what we're going to talk about today. So the last episode, we talked about your budget and why that's so fundamental, because it really sets up it sets up the discipline that you need to be able to get to savings. Sorry about that. Lost my train of thought for a second there, but you guys are with me. So we're going to jump into savings. I talked a little bit about like your short-term savings goals that you should have, your long-term savings goals that you should have. And so now we're going to go into some details about how you can set those things up. So the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is automation with your savings. There's a ton of different ways that you guys can do this, and it's very, very important that you do, because savings is one of the most fundamental things when you're starting to manage your finances. You always want to make sure that you are paying yourself first. You work very hard for your money. I'm pretty sure all of us have, those days where we go into work and we're just like, I don't even know why I keep coming into work to do this. But you should pay yourself first before anybody else, before your bill collectors, before anything. Pay yourself first. Start to make that a habit. A good way to do that is to automate your savings. So one of the ways you can do that, very simple, is with your direct deposit. You're already currently getting a direct deposit into your checking account, most likely. You can have your check split up and have a portion of it go into your savings account. So you just contact your employer. There's usually a form that you fill out, and you have your savings account number, and you just tell them what percentage you want going where. Guys, this is really easy. Start with a small percentage. Maybe it's like 1 or 2%. Again, guys, it doesn't have to be a big, huge step that you take. It just has to be a small step to get you going in the right direction, and have that go over to your savings account. That way, every check, before you even see it in your checking account, it's already gone over and it's in your savings account. That gets you one step closer to starting to building that habit of saving and paying yourself first and putting that money away. Reading my notes here. Another good tip or trick that you can use, one of the accounts an app that I love is Acorns. So I found this app maybe about 1.5 years ago. It's really, really awesome. And basically what Acorns does, I talked about it a little bit on the last pod, is that it takes your spare change and rounds it up and then puts that into an investment account for you. So it does all of this for you. When you first set up Acorns, you kind of step through, you give them the information, it sets you up an actual investment account, and it's putting the money that you save into really a long-term investment account for you. It's really trying to make it very simple for you, so you don't have to worry about, you're not picking stocks or things like that or whatever. So it's really, really awesome. And guys, it's completely automated. You don't even miss it. Like, you won't even realize that you're putting away money and saving. So last year I had it for the entire year. At the end of the year, I saved $1,000. Just putting together some spare change, it would round up. So if I spent 78 cents somewhere, it would round that up to 12 cents, or take that round up to 12 cents. And then as soon as it gets to $5, then it goes and invested into your account for you. So it's 12 cents, and then all of a sudden next one it gets 50 cents. As soon as you get to 5, it puts that in there. And then also every month, I told it just to grab $20. So $20 a month plus my spare change ended up getting me up to $1,000 in 1 year. That's pretty awesome, guys, right? And $1,000, that's a very round number. That's a good number to have, because that's the number that you want to make sure that you have for your short-term emergency funds, right? So again, like I said a little bit on the last pod, right? This is your things go wrong, right? Life starts to happen. You need new tires. You need to maybe replace something in the house. Maybe you need to, I won't say a new TV, but an appliance. Something breaks into your house, or not breaks into your house, but something breaks down in your house, and you need to replace something, right? Car, guys, we all know that car maintenance is one of those things that comes up all the time, right? That check engine light always comes on at the wrong time. Not when we have extra money, always when we don't have any money, right? We're stretching it and trying to make it to the end of the month, and that check engine light comes on. So this is where you want to have in your short term $1,000 set aside to help you with that. And automating your savings with these little tricks helps, right? Putting that money aside out of your direct deposit, using something like Acorns to just get that spare change aside. And if neither one of those work for you guys, you can just simple as every time you get paid, take $5, right? Put it in a little change jar, right? We used to have piggy banks when we were kids. Well, we could still use piggy banks now as adults, right? Get you a little piggy bank. What I do is I take little change around the house. So when I carry cash and I go and I get change, I hate carrying spare change on me. So I took this little ice cream carton, cleaned it out, and I just put the change in there. and I just drop it in there, right? Whenever I collect change, a penny, nickel, whatever it is, and I put it in there, and then as soon as it fills up, I go to one like to little Coinstars. You can take it to your bank, change it out, put that directly into your savings account. So little simple ways, guys, and it's just these little steps that starts to get you to save, to starts to build that habit, right? It takes 21 days to build an effective habit. Once you have that habit, you'll never go back. And then you'll always have that emergency savings there. So when something does happen, you pull from that savings, you take care of it, and then you start working to build that back up. And so that way it never just sets you off track. You don't have to, all of a sudden feel like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get an extra $200, extra $300, $500? You have it already there for you. Once you've done that short term, you can start looking at the long term, right? Which is you want to have that 6 months to a year of salary saved up. Now that sounds it sounds great in theory, but that is something that's hard to do, guys. I'm never going to tell you anything that this stuff is easy. It is definitely hard, but it's all doable. It's all very possible. So once you have your short term and you have your $1,000 set up and you're comfortable there, now you start making steps towards the long term. One more tip I want to go back to you. Your short term account should be fairly easy to access to. It depends on your discipline. And this is something where you guys have to look yourself in the mirror and say, how disciplined am I? If I see that money, will I constantly want to go grab it and splurge on something? If that's the case, then maybe instead of opening up a savings account in the current bank you have, go find another bank like a credit union, or Ally actually is a great bank right now. They've got a lot of good high interest savings accounts that you just do all online. But make it a different bank that you don't see all the time, right? Don't get a debit card for that account. Make it a little harder for you to get access to that money, but you're still saving it so that way it stays there. One quick note that I want to tell you guys about when I was a kid, there was this I can't remember, I think it was a small credit union that my mom and I were a part of, but they had this great little thing called the Christmas Club, and it was really, really cool. So what they did was every year at the beginning of the year, you would sign up for the Christmas Club, and you decided how much you wanted to put away. Maybe it was $25, maybe it was $50, and I think as a kid I did 25. So every month I would it was 50. Every month I would put away $50. So I would go hustle, work, whatever you had to do, mow lawns, babysit, whatever it was, clean up, animal droppings, but whatever you did to get that $50, and it would automatically put it into account for me. So then it did that every month, and so then at the end of the month, coming close to Christmas, usually it would let you take it out right around November. I had money to go Christmas shopping, and so that was really a cool thing as a kid, because every year I wanted to go and buy my family presents, and I didn't want to have to worry about trying to all of a sudden look around and go, where am I going to get this money? So that at that young age kind of put me down this path of realizing that, hey, if I put the money away before I need it, when I do need it, it's pretty cool. It makes that a whole lot stressful. And so I use that story because it's the same thing, guys, with automating your savings. Like, do the same thing, right? If you got to psych yourself out about it, start putting away that money because you're saving for Christmas or you're saving for something else, and just put it away so you don't see it. So for your long term, you want this account to be a little bit more inaccessible than your short term, because this is your long term account. This is your huge emergency, right? I'm out of work for a couple of months, or medical issue has come up, or whatever it is. Life has really hit, and I need access to this. Or hey, you decide, look, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to step away. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 anymore. You want to have that savings there, so that way you don't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bills, where these things are going to come from. You don't want to have that stress on you while you're trying to build a business. Whatever that is, you want to make sure that that's there. And so this one, you definitely want to set up in a different account. You probably want to look at something like a money market that gets you a little bit more interest, because you're going to build this over the course of maybe a couple of years, right? When you hear these things, guys, when people say, look, you want to have 6 months to a year's worth of salary, this isn't something you do in 1 year. This is something you want to strive to, right? So you sit down and make a plan and say, okay, look, in 3 years, I want to have the equivalent of 1 year of my salary saved up. The beautiful thing about doing that, guys, is if you set a goal, then you can start breaking it down. It's all math. The beautiful thing about finances, guys, is it just comes down to math, breaking things down. If I want to save $100,000, how much do I need to save a month to get that? Right? And then you just start breaking that down. What's 100,000 divided by 12? Okay, cool. How do I save that much? Right? If that's too much, then I step back and say, okay, I want to get to 100,000. I got to do this in 1 month. Times that by 3. How do I save $100,000 in 3 years? Right? And so then you just start aiming towards that. Guys, it's all about building that discipline. And so for like I said, your longer term account, you want to make sure this is something that's a little bit harder to get access to. You want to look at maybe money markets because you want to get interest while you're building that. Anything that gives you more of a high interest rate. So again, Ally, I swear they're not paying me for this, but a great bank right now. They're doing really good stuff with their interest rates. So that's one I would definitely look at. So that's really it on the savings tip, guys. That's 3 different ways for you to start building your savings. It's very, very, very important, guys. People used to always say like you can save your way to wealth. I don't quite believe in that, but I believe that it gets you on the road to being wealthy. And what I mean by wealthy, I don't mean like you're going out and buying, all kinds of toys and cars and stuff like that, but wealthy in financing that you just don't have to worry. You know that you are now managing your money, you are now managing your finances, and you can do what you need to do with it. When you want to take a vacation, you want to make a purchase, that you have that money accessible to do that. Right? That is true wealth, right? Being able to really spend that money the way you want to. And that's one of the things that I want everybody to accomplish. And it's easy to do, guys. It just takes a little time. It takes a little effort. You're going to have to change some habits here and there, but you can do it. You definitely can do it. So with that, I do want to thank you guys for listening today. Kind of a short pod. A couple of shout outs I want to give. There is a... Sorry. I'm going to cut this part out. So, actually, I'm not. I'm going to keep it. I lost my train of thought for a second, guys. So I wanted to give a shout out real quick to Williams & Lee Financial. We have our blog on there. It's called The Ledger. We have tons of good articles on there. Also, check out our products and services that we make available. You can schedule a consultation with any one of our financial coaches to kind of, if you have some questions, talk to you, kind of walk you through some of the products and services that we offer. Also, if you are in Austin, Texas, 2 weeks from now, April 28th, we are doing a financial transformation class. It's completely free. We're going to be going into detail about the power of your credit. We're going to talk about savings and debt management. We're going to give you some tips and tricks and things to use, show you how finances and being financially healthy, financially fit can benefit you, and why personal finance is something that every single one of us needs to understand and make strides to getting better at, right? So that's going to be going down in Austin on April 28th. To find out about it, go to eventbrite.com, search for the financial transformation, and you'll see it's completely free. You just want to register so we can get a head count to make sure we have available seating for everybody. So with that, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Please download the Anchor app. Send me a message. I want to hear from you guys. If there's more things you guys want to hear about, or you just want to give some compliments, or maybe if you have some negative comments you want to say, it doesn't matter. I want to hear it all. So download the Anchor app. Send me a message. We are working to get this podcast, like I said, distributed across all the different platforms. And that's it for now, guys. So that's been a Financial Fix. Until next time, stay focused on your dreams. All right, guys.